Humans didn't discover the presence of infrared light until well into the 1800s, and it's taken us significantly longer to begin to crack what this portion of visible light spectrum means. But there are plenty of species that have had a head start of hundreds of thousands of years on us. Creatures all around us have been using their ability to see infrared light as a way to hunt, defend themselves, and navigate the world in ways that we as humans could never have predicted up until the discovery of infrared. All instances of infrared vision that researchers have definitively discovered are exhibited by cold-blooded species, like snakes, amphibians, and insects. In other words, the most alien of our natural predators tend to exhibit vision that falls on the infrared spectrum. But there are some signs that some more common mammals might be able to do the same. Our list will include creatures that definitively use the infrared spectrum, but also some that are suspected to. One can even peer into both the infrared and ultraviolet, though no matter the case, this unique sense of vision serves a critical role in the continued survival of these species. Here are 8 animals that have infrared vision. The bullfrog's eyes adapt to analyze either visible light or infrared in the same way that salmon do, using an enzyme that converts vitamin A1 into A2. The bullfrog's eyes are positioned atop the head, giving frogs a field of vision of almost 180 degrees. This peripheral vision helps them spot predators and prey. And while the bullfrog converts primarily to A1 pigments as it grows out of its tadpole form and into an adult, it maintains the ability to see infrared out of the lower portion of its eye. To maximize their potential for prey, bullfrogs often sit half-emerged, potentially looking for flies above the water, while using their infrared vision beneath the surface to scan for potential predators. Number 7. Gray wolves are considered to be elegant predators and highly social mammals that form tight nuclear packs. There's significant evidence that wolves and other related canines are capable of sensing the spectrum in their own unique manner. In fact, the recent discovery that wolves and dogs can actually smell heat with their nose is causing us to rethink our understanding of the infrared spectrum. While dogs have been trained to rely primarily on other senses, it's believed that they can be trained to better sense heat, and that wolves still use the sensory feat out in the wild. And if true, the same capabilities could be possessed by coyotes. Number 6. The vampire bat is another warm-blooded hunter of prey that benefits from its intimate relationship with the infrared spectrum. The sense organ that vampire bats use is similar to the pit sensors employed by vipers, but the form used by the vampire bat is actually more sophisticated, as it can detect the threshold for dangerous heat when the temperature clears 109 degrees Fahrenheit, and also detect the threshold for warm-blooded prey, which happens at temperatures of 86 degrees. At number 5. Mosquitoes are the world's deadliest animals because of all the diseases they can spread. Drinking blood is a pretty common form of sustenance in the animal kingdom, but the majority of animals that slurp on the plasma track down their prey by smelling the carbon dioxide that our bodies give off. And while mosquitoes do use carbon dioxide to identify prey from a distance, their infrared vision allows them to get in close enough that they can visually identify their target. And they can see you through infrared vision. Number 4. While the only creatures that have been definitively proven to see infrared light are cold-blooded, there are some exciting signs that suggest that foxes, and perhaps other nocturnal mammals like coyotes, can read light that appears on the infrared spectrum. But anecdotal evidence is that foxes and other animals are able to detect and actively avoid hunting cameras that make use of infrared technology to spot animals at night. Unfortunately, the task of isolating infrared as a variable in research is difficult, and so the question still remains in the air as to whether foxes, coyotes, and other mammals can actually sense infrared. Number 3. It's common for fish to be able to sense deeper into the red spectrum than humans. simply because it's such an essential attribute for survival underwater. But no fish yet discovered has the unique sensory range of the goldfish. Their field of vision extends from the infrared spectrum all the way to the ultraviolet spectrum. Through the use of 4 colored cones in its eye, the goldfish can better see and properly measure based on their reflections in the water. Number 2. While the pit viper is capable of sensing light on the infrared spectrum, it's not exactly what we as humans would identify as sight in the traditional sense. Instead, they make use of pit sensors that are located along their jaws and can register changes in the heat spectrum. The nerve cells that make up these organs detect the heat on a molecular level and then warm up the pit sensor, triggering an electrical signal that tells the viper's brain to respond. It is believed that the pit viper combines conventional eyesight with these pit sensors for a more comprehensive sense of situational awareness. And our last animal on this list, number 1. Salmon are notorious for their epic mating migrations that often carry them from one side of the world to another. But in addition to undergoing some rather elaborate mating rituals, the way their eyes work actually changes on the course of their journey. The biochemical reaction happens in their eyes as they transition from fresh to saltwater environments, since the infrared and near-red spectrum makes it easier to navigate in the brinier and often darker waters of the ocean. It's a transition that comes down to a very simple chemical process, transforming vitamin A1 into A2, using an enzyme that the salmon's body naturally produces. This has been a list of 8 animals that can see with infrared vision. Thanks for watching. If you liked our video, make sure to check our other videos, and make sure to like, comment, and subscribe.